What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some breaking, interesting news. As His Excellency, Turki Alalshihk, is partnering up and now working with, globally, Dana White and the UFC. And he's now going to be financially backing Dana White and the UFC as well. September 14th in Las Vegas at the Sphere. Right? The first sporting event at the Sphere. If you don't know what the Sphere is, you just take a look right here. The Sphere in Las Vegas is essentially a dome, a globe. And it has 1 billion light bulbs on it, cameras, and it changes colors, it changes, as you see here, it changes reflections, it changes colors, it changes shapes, it changes pictures, it could be the sun, it could turn into the Super Bowl that was there. Then it could turn into whatever, right? It doesn't even matter. Whatever it chooses, it sometimes it's Mars, sometimes it's the Earth, sometimes it's the moon, sometimes it's the cartoon characters. It could be whatever, but inside the Sphere, as you see here, it's an arena. And Top Rank was supposed to host the first sporting event there, and now Dana White and UFC has took over. And we know that His Excellency, Turki Alalshihk, he got a little tension, a mini grudge match going on with Canelo Alvarez right now. September 14th is Mexican Independence Day weekend. And Canelo Alvarez is going to fight Puerto Rican star boxer, title contender, Edgar Berlanga. He traditionally fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and then he fights on Mexican Independence Day weekend, which both happen to fall on the exact dates. The Saturday was May 5th, and the Saturday in September is September 14th. And so Canelo Alvarez traditionally fights on those days. Floyd Mayweather previously did, Oscar De La Hoya, so on and so forth, right? And Dana White and the UFC Dana White wants to be in the sport of boxing. He's always expressed his interest in being in the sport of boxing. And now Canelo Alvarez is going to compete, and they're both in Vegas, down the street. The Sphere is literally 8-minute drive, if that. That's with traffic. Walking, you could walk there in probably 15 minutes from the MGM T-Mobile Arena. You can walk to the Sphere about 15 minutes, right? So they're going to be competing, and the UFC overall has a rabid fan base, a very, very hyper fan base, right? Just the action, the atmosphere, the event is completely different from that of boxing. Now, I personally am boxing through and through. I'm a very casual in UFC. I was a fan of UFC when Ken Shamrock and Tito Ortiz and Anderson Silva was at the height of their reign. Once they fell off, retired, and careers died down, I paid attention to John Jones, Daniel Cormier, Francis Ngannou now, Conor McGregor, on a smaller scale. Not really familiar with hardcore, right? And so with that said, but when you watch it, the event, the excitement is just different from that of boxing. Boxing is tradition. Boxing is it's quiet, as the rounds are going on and the matches unfolding. In between rounds, it's the music's playing, it's loud. But UFC has a different vibe, right? It's just loud overall. It's just a different type of hyper fan base, right? And so one has to wonder, is His Excellency, who's not happy with Canelo Alvarez and the statements Canelo Alvarez made about him, and he clapped back at Canelo Alvarez, and we know Dana White's issue with the sport of boxing. They're going to vow to try to crush Canelo Alvarez on September 14th. And he has the resources to do it. And Dana White has the fan base to do it, to subtract from Canelo Alvarez's fight. And the fact that Canelo's going to fight the T-Mobile, and we're opening up the Sphere for the first time for a sporting event, and you got this rabid, hyper fan base with the UFC that's going to participate. Woo! Now, get this. I don't know who's fighting in the UFC. I'm pretty sure y'all know who's out there, who's going to be fighting in UFC that night. I have no clue. I don't know who's fighting. I don't know who the headlines. I don't know the main event. I don't know nothing about it. I know zero about it. I know the UFC overall and the business model. This is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Dana White trying to get in the sport of boxing. His Excellency Turki Alalshihk is trying to create that same model that the UFC has with boxing, as he's trying to bring together top-ranked Matchroom, Golden Boy, PBC, Queensberry. He's bringing them all together. This is going to be interesting, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.